everybody, welcome back to my channel. So to start off today's really kind of simple but sexy look using my Naked Heat palette that I just got from Sephora last week. I'm super excited to use it, so even though it's not a super dramatic look, I think it's quite appropriate for this young model. She's only 17 and she's very naturally beautiful, so I didn't want to do anything too overpowering, but she still wanted to look quite sexy because she was going for a modelling job and had to look kind of a little bit done up. So anyway, so after I filled in her brows using the BH Cosmetics brow palette, I'm just going to prime the eyes using my MAC Select Cover Up Concealer in NW20. It's a little bit darker than what I normally use because obviously I didn't want this eye look to be too dramatic. So yeah, I'm just going to stick with one that's more closer to her skin tone. But it's such a great concealer to use as a base for the eye because it goes on really smooth, it's not cakey, and it really makes the eyeshadows pop. So after I've blended that in using a kabuki brush, like a little concealer kabuki brush, I just make sure I set that so it's not sticky when we apply the eyeshadows. And just before I start the eyes, I'm going to prime the face and really let that primer sink in. I'm using Girl Meets Pearl by Benefit. It's more of a cream highlighter, but I think it really works really well on young skin. Gives a really nice glow, doesn't like suck up any moisture. Anyway, so I'm going in with the first shade from the Naked Heat palette. I'm actually mixing two together, which are the burnt orange tones. They're Sourced and Low Blow, both matte shades, really good transition shades. I couldn't choose between them, so I thought, okay, I'll use them both. So anyway, I'm just blending that out on the outer corner of the eye, just upwards and outwards. And I'm going to repeat both on the same as. I'm using MAC 224 brush for this. I will list all the brushes down below because I do tend to forget which ones they are. I never seem to have them with me when I'm doing the voiceovers. I should really be more prepared. So I'm going to build that up, those two shades, just building up the intensity on the outer corners. And do you know what? I would actually even leave it like this for a more simple look. I really like how that kind of looks. But we wanted to go a little bit more dramatic. So on a smaller brush, I'm just going to take the shades Cayenne and He Devil mixed together. These are kind of a step up from the burnt oranges we just used. They're more of a brick red kind of colour. And again, I couldn't decide which ones to use, so I thought I'll use both. Just taking that close to the lash line and a little bit tighter into the crease, not quite as far up as we took those burnt orange shades. It's just going to give depth and dimension to the colour we've already put on. Another step further, and you could even leave it like this again, so it's just as far as you want to go. Now I'm taking the MAC 224 brush again and just blending anything together so there's no harsh edges. Oh, my daughter's behind me, she's 3.5 years old. I really asked her to be quiet, but she's just dropped something, I think. Quiet, sweetheart. So going in again with that smaller brush, I'm just going to build up that Cayenne and He Devil a little bit because when I did blend those two shades, those previous shades together with my big brush, I kind of blended them away a little bit. They are really pigmented, these shadows, but you have to be careful not to just kind of blend them into nothingness. But I think that goes for most eyeshadows anyway, especially matte eyeshadows. They're kind of really hard to get right. But I think this palette is actually really good. Like, I don't think they're as good as my Makeup Geek eyeshadows, but they're pretty close. So now I'm taking the shade Scorched, which is like a coppery colour, or foiled copper. So yeah, on a flat synthetic brush, I'm just placing that in the centre of the lid to create a kind of gradient effect between the lighter inner corner that I'm going to place down in a minute. For the inner corner, I actually used the shade Lumber, I think it's pronounced. But I found that it actually wasn't that different from the Scorch, so I did actually put some highlighter. I think I put Opal by Becca in the inner portion of the eye to kind of brighten it up a little bit. That's what I'm doing now. I actually highlight the brow bone with this also. Now I'm taking my RCMA foundation palette. I'm taking the third shade in from the left and just blending that with a thinner. This turns it into a liquid foundation and it's really dewy and really natural. It's a great foundation for young skins, or for people that just don't want a heavy cakey foundation, like a long, well, it is long wearing, but if you do have like oily skin, you really will have to set it, so just be aware of that. So yeah, just apply that all over the face with a beauty blender, blend it all out. And now I'm just applying a little bit of LA Girl, the orange concealer under the eyes, just to counteract a little bit of blueness that she had under there. Blend that out with my beauty blender, and I'm going to put some concealer on top of that, just a tiny bit of MAC Select Moisture Concealer, which is a really lightweight concealer. Doesn't add a lot of coverage, but it will get rid of that orange that we just put down. Again, just blending that out with my beauty blender, making sure it's damp. This will pick up any excess product and just blend all the cream products into the face really flawlessly. I also really like the Real Techniques sponge, so either or. The Real Techniques ones are a lot cheaper, obviously. To bronze, I'm going to use my Chanel Soleil de Tan. Oh god, I can never say that properly. Or was it Tan de Soleil? It's a really nice bronzer for like light to medium skin tones. It can be a little bit orangey, but it's really nice if you kind of want a dewier look and you don't want to apply loads of bronzing powders. But I find I have to set it, otherwise it just melts off a little bit, especially in Spain because it's super hot. And she's actually going to go to I think she's going to do a modelling job now, so she's going to be under some light. So yeah, I just blend that in with my beauty blender once again, and then I'm just going to set it a tiny little bit with my MAC Next Nothing powder, just in the areas that the foundation and things tend to melt off first. As you can see, she's got a lot more colour back now. I decided to add a little bit of Hoola by Benefit just to give a little bit more of a bronze look, because she's quite a nice bronzy kind of skin tone anyway. She's absolutely beautiful, like she doesn't even need makeup, I swear to god. If I looked like her at her age, it's not bloody fair. Anyway, for blush, I'm using Margin by MAC. It's a really nice kind of luminous frosty shade. Like a bronzy tone blusher. Perfect for this look. Doesn't add too much of a colour, but just enough to give her a healthy glow. Just taking that in circular motions on a angled blush brush. A lot of the blushes I use, the Orvoni blush site, I really recommend them if you're starting out. And then to highlight, I'm using the Opal by Becca, my favourite highlighter. It's just such a beautiful kind of light gold colour. Just applying that with the Real Techniques setting brush on the cheekbones, and I do take it on the Cupid's bow and down a little bit down the bridge of the nose and on the tip of the nose, not too much. So for the under eye, I'm just going to take on a flat eyeshadow brush, not too flat, not so it's too dense that this is the more smoky part of the eye. I'm just going to apply low blow and sourced, mixed with a little bit of cayenne, just to smoke that lower lash line out. And then on a more compact, flat, more defining brush, I will put the shade En Fuego and push that closer into the lash line, just to give a nice gradient effect. I wasn't sure if I was going to like this palette. I kind of just got it because I felt like I had to, but I'm really happy that I did. I think the colours are absolutely beautiful. It is kind of a one-trick pony. I don't think you're going to get too much variety out of it, and I think if you've already got the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, the Modern Renaissance, maybe you can skip it, but there are a few shades in here that I think are really nice. So I'm glad I got it as a makeup artist. I'm glad I got it. So I'm just going to highlight the inner corner of the eyes using some Opal by Becca once again, and then I'm going to line the waterline just using a champagne coloured eyeliner. So I'm just going to line the lips with MAC Strip Down, keeping them nice and natural, and just applying some clear gloss in the centre. She has really lovely lips. I just wanted to take a bit of the redness away so it was more in tone with the whole look. So I'm finishing touches now, and this is pretty much the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. I'd really enjoy your feedback. See you very soon. Thanks for watching.